Hello everyone. Today in series of Docplexus interviews, we have with us Dr. Sujoy Sanyal. He is a senior consultant neurosurgeon cum neurointerventionist. He is a pioneer in deep brain stimulation for advanced Parkinson's disease. Thank you, Dr. Sanyal, for joining us.
Thank you very much.
So coming on to the questions, Dr. Sanyal, our community would like to know about the most important parameters that should be considered before declaring a patient fit for the implantation of brain pacemakers.
Okay. So I think we need to understand what is Parkinson's disease. Now, Parkinson's disease is primarily a motor disorder, and it has got primarily three symptoms. One is slowness of movement. The second is rest tremor, and the third is stiffness. Now, at the outset, let me tell you that there is a common misconception that memory loss is a sign of Parkinson's disease. Actually, memory loss is a sign of dementia, and thereby not a symptom of typical Parkinson's disease. Okay, so now at this juncture, it is also very important to understand the difference between what is Parkinson's disease and what is Parkinson's plus. You see, there are certain types of disorders which are similar to Parkinson's disease but are not Parkinson's disease. Now, why is it important to make this difference? It is important to make this difference because there is a set treatment protocol for Parkinson's disease, whereas Parkinson's plus does not have too much of treatment available in the world as of today. Now, so how do we make this difference between Parkinson's disease and Parkinson's plus? Yeah. The most important, the easiest way in which we make this difference between Parkinson's disease and Parkinson's plus is that if you have these motor symptoms like slowness of movement, you have stiffness, you have tremor, and you have started on a drug called levodopa. If you have Parkinson's disease, you will have immediate significant improvement as soon as you start levodopa. Whereas if you have Parkinson's plus, you may not have that much benefit, and even if you have benefit, that benefit is not going to last beyond 6 months, 1 year. Okay, so that's the most important differentiating fact between Parkinson's disease and Parkinson's plus. Now, so as I said, Parkinson's plus does not have much treatment in the world today. Yeah. So now let's focus back on Parkinson's disease. Now, Parkinson's disease, as I said, you have these initial motor symptoms. You started on levodopa, your symptoms significantly improve to levodopa. Now, the response to levodopa, the good response to levodopa lasts for at least 4-5 years in patients with typical Parkinson's disease. Now, after at least 4-5 years, now for some patients it may be 6 years, some patients it may be 10 years, patients go on to become what is called advanced Parkinson's disease. And the patients with advanced Parkinson's disease are patients who are suitable for brain pacemaker or deep brain stimulation surgery. Now, at this juncture, let me tell you that what is advanced Parkinson's disease. Now, advanced Parkinson's disease, so Parkinson's disease Parkinson's disease is a progressive disorder. As time goes by, the response to levodopa goes on decreasing. So you have to go on increasing the medications. But after a few years, you start developing what is called on-off. So you take the medicine and the medicine starts working for some time. You become okay, so you get switched on. Then the medicine action goes away. You get switched off. You again become slow, you become stiff, you start tremoring. So this is called on-off. Now, on-off is a classic symptom of advanced Parkinson's disease. The second symptom of advanced Parkinson's disease, which may not be there in all patients with advanced Parkinson's disease, is drug-induced abnormal movements. So, patients with advanced Parkinson's disease, they have on-off, and in their on phase, they might have abnormal movements, which is a side effect of the drug levodopa. So, these are the patients who are suitable for deep brain stimulation or brain pacemaker surgery. Okay, so the patients of advanced Parkinson's disease who are having on-off, or patients of advanced Parkinson's disease who are having drug-induced abnormal movements. These are the patients who are the fittest candidates for deep brain stimulation oblique brain pacemaker surgery.
Okay, thank you so much for the detailed explanation, Dr. Sanyal. So, can you please brief us on the importance of DBS in managing advanced Parkinson's disease?
Right. So, last question I kind of answered about what is Parkinson's disease, how Parkinson's disease progresses, how to differentiate between Parkinson's disease and Parkinson's plus, about advanced Parkinson's disease. Now, so once you get a patient of advanced Parkinson's disease, you recommend him or her for DBS surgery. Now, what is DBS surgery? DBS surgery is actually, it's a computer guided surgery. It's a computer guided exact placement of two electrical leads at a particular spot inside the brain, deep inside the brain on both sides. So you place two electrodes inside the brain at a particular spot deep inside the brain, and then you tunnel the wires and connect it to a battery here just below the collarbone. So that's why the battery, this stimulates that particular region inside the brain by means of the electrodes. So that's why this is called deep brain stimulation or DBS or brain pacemakers, because you are electrically pacing the brain. So this is what is DBS surgery. Now, the benefits from DBS surgery. Now, benefits from DBS surgery are patients who are having, so patient who is undergoing DBS is a patient who is having on-off, who is on very high doses of levodopa, and is having levodopa-induced abnormal movements. Now, let's look at the benefits in each of these things. Levodopa dosage decreases following DBS, okay? Thereby, levodopa-induced abnormal movements decreases significantly following DBS. And patients who are having they were having on-off, their on time increases. In a 24 hours, their on time, the average results in the world is that your on time increases by 6 hours a day, okay? While your medication decreases and your drug-induced abnormal movements significantly decrease. Now, we have had exceptional results with DBS, and as a result of which, we get referrals from all over the world. Our results is that 90% of our patients following deep brain stimulation surgery or brain pacemaker surgery have been able to switch off their levodopa completely. 100% of our patients are 24 hours on. They're 24 hours on, which means they're on all through the day. And nearly 99% of our patients have near complete disappearance of their drug-induced abnormal movements. So as you can see, our patients following DBS, most of our patients, they're off medication, off levodopa, they're on 24 hours a day, and they do not have drug-induced abnormal movements, which means they're almost like normal. And that is why I am an invited faculty on this surgery at conferences like the World Congress of Neurosurgeons and the Asian Congress of Neurosurgeons, etc.
What advantages does the implantation of a brain pacemaker have on other common procedures such as microelectrode guided ablative surgeries?
Right. Now, so DBS is a relatively expensive procedure because it involves implantation of a brain pacemaker, which is an expensive piece of equipment. Now, ablative surgeries is basically a cheaper surgery in which you burn a particular spot deep inside the brain. Now, the problem with ablative surgeries is that you burn it, you get some benefit, but thereafter you are not able to do anything. But as I said, you see, the disease continues to progress, but once you have burnt a particular area inside the brain, you got some benefit, but once the disease progresses, you do not have anything in your hand. Whereas in deep brain stimulation surgery or brain pacemaker surgery, you see, the electrical stimulation of the brain, of the spot inside the brain, we can alter the parameters from outside by means of a remote. I mean, you can alter the voltage, the pulse width, the frequency, the current, etc. Everything you can alter it from outside, which means that as the disease progresses, we can try to catch up with the disease by programming the pacemaker from outside, by altering the parameters of electrical stimulation from outside. So ablation is a one-stop surgery, is a one-step surgery, but there is no way that you can keep up with the increasing symptoms. Whereas in DBS, by programming the pacemaker, you can keep up with the progression of the disease. Now, in this context, let me tell you that it is very important to understand that DBS surgery in itself is not enough. Yeah. I always say, what are the keys to success? Keys to success of the surgery is one, choosing the proper patient. Two is doing the surgery properly. And three is proper regular pacemaker programming along with medicine adjustment. So this post-operative pacemaker programming, and sometimes you require it for life. So post-operative pacemaker programming along with medical adjustment is crucial to long-term success of this procedure. Now, actually, it is very important to understand that pacemaker programming actually can be done in the place where you have been operated. Okay. But we have devised a method by which we use video transfer technologies such as WhatsApp. So I have patients from as far as Mauritius. So what they do is that the patients are given a programmer, a remote of their own. So they send me a video of when suppose the patient is doing well. They send me a video on WhatsApp saying that my patient is doing okay, sir. And then say 3 months later, they send me a video, sir, my patient is having this small problem and I'm sending you this video. So I diagnose the problem on the WhatsApp video, and I tell the patient to change the pacemaker programmings by means of the patient remote. So by this method, actually my outstation patients actually visit me only once every one to 2 years. Okay. So pacemaker programming is crucial to long-term success of DBS procedure. And for programming, normally you have to visit the surgeon or the center where we have been operated, but we have been using WhatsApp and Viber to do programming from even far off by giving the patient a remote himself.
That is amazing. Dr. Sanyal, please shed some light on the possible complications of brain pacemaker mediated DBS.
Okay, so luckily we have not had any major complications till date, but this does not mean this is a small surgery. It has its own set of complications. The main complications which can happen, one is, while putting the electrodes inside the brain, you can have bleeding inside the brain. You can have infection. You can have hardware complications in the sense that the leads might break, the battery might malfunction. So these are the short-term complication is during the surgery. The main complication is bleeding inside the brain, and following surgery, the main complications are infection and hardware complications. There is another thing that I need to talk to you about, that you must understand, that deep brain stimulation or brain pacemaker, we are not surgically eliminating Parkinson's disease. Okay, the disease is still there. The disease continues to progress. Okay, and we try to catch up with the disease by programming the pacemaker from time to time. But some patients, the disease might progress to such an extent after a few years that even deep brain even programming the pacemaker might not be able to relieve all his symptoms.
So please share a key message to the community of DocPlexus.
So I think it is the key message, and especially with the World Parkinson's Day around the corner on 11th April, I think the key message is that there is not only hope, there is tremendous hope for patients of advanced Parkinson's disease. Patients of advanced Parkinson's disease can have significant improvement in quality of life following deep brain stimulation or brain pacemakers for advanced Parkinson's disease. They can my patients have gone back to office. They have gone back to ladies have gone back to finer activities such as stitching, sewing, cooking. Going to office is not as big a deal as fine activities such as stitching, sewing, or cooking. So patients can have wonderful quality of life if you properly select the patients. if you do the surgery properly, and if you do good postoperative pacemaker programming. There is hope. So, we must identify our patients and refer patients of advanced Parkinson's disease to doctors who are capable of doing, who are capable of choosing patients and operating patients for advanced Parkinson's disease. Thank you.
Thank you so much for this insightful discussion, Dr. Sanyal. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.